right, ladies and gentlemen, it is now 8:07 PM and a quorum of members is present, so the meeting of the Board of Education, so this meeting of a work session of the Board of Education, the School District of New Berlin is called to order. Please call the roll.
Ms. Crosby? Here. Mr. Helmer?
Here.
Ms. Konick?
Here.
Ms. Schultz?
Here.
Mr. Seidel?
Here.
Ms. Spindler?
Oh,
She's here.
I feel so bad.
She'll be here shortly.
Mr. Zelinski?
Here.
All right. Since this is just a work session, we can move right on into our topic. Although I guess maybe I'll wait for Allison. Here she comes. Sorry. Okay, so don't want to spend more than an hour on this. This is basically to get us started, and also because we did have a board goal of reading the book Great on their behalf. So this is going to give us a little opportunity to talk about that and how we'd like to possibly take anything we learned from there and apply it to setting our goals for this coming, well, already we're into it, the 2025-26 year. So mission, vision, goals. We have the school district mission and vision, and then the school district goals, which are broken down into four, which us as a board has aligned our goals with those four goal topics as well the last few years. And then, of course, our Board of Education mission and vision. Our mission is to oversee the district to live out its mission through accountability, vision, community, leadership, and policy. And the vision, the board shares the same vision as the district. So we haven't changed that since we started doing this. And so just a reminder what our goals were set for last year. We kept the main goal, we just changed our action items. I'm not going to dig deep into those. I'll just have them up there, and you can also refer to them in your packet if you want to. Of course, staff was the next one, fiscal, and our community goals. But I really, also we added then the board administration guardrails. That was something new we did add last year in regards to the book. And so we set up these guardrails, which is basically, these are things that we're telling the administration that we do not want to see done. Do not review new curriculum to be chosen without involving the board from the beginning. Do not significantly alter the organizational chart without first consulting the board. Do not recommend to hire or promote without first informing the board of any legal issues or accusations of misconduct. Do not include consolidation of schools and/or referendum as options to cover the cost of expenditures. Do not increase class size beyond recommended limits, and do not advocate for a specific curriculum. And then the board development was also something new we had last year. I recommend that we read the book, Great on Their Behalf, which was actually something I did pick up helpful at a WASB convention. That was 2 years ago, though. And then to use this to help us prepare for our goal setting and guardrail planning for this year. So really what we're going to probably spend the most time on tonight is discussing this book. So the first question I have for you all is, what was your overall takeaway from the book?
To focus on student outcomes in everything we do.
Anyone else?
I was just
Oh, sorry,
gonna say
I
that.
can go
Yeah,
one at a time.
I was going to say
Go
the
ahead.
exact same thing.
So all about student outcomes. Anybody have anything to add? Sorry, Allison, you were going to say?
Yeah, I took from it that I agree that the student achievements should drive our meetings. So pretty much, obviously, the outcomes, it seems like that was the main topic that I took from reading it.
Anything else?
Yeah, I think as we set Joel's goals and we set ours, I mean, at the end of the day, if it doesn't involve student outcomes, it's really not a goal for us to be setting and for us to be driving towards.
Anything else?
And to his point, I also had wrote down that our goals should be put in place, to make sure that they're really making a difference in the children's performances, if that's what we're gonna focus on, their outcomes and how it benefits them.
Nope, that's great.
Sorry.
Nope, totally, yeah, I totally agree with what everybody's saying.
The only thing it
Yeah.
didn't mention is stakeholders within the community, meaning taxpayers.
Yeah,
And that,
which we can get into when we talk
Yeah.
about the next question,
Right.
exactly. And I would add to it, school boards should not be about managing adult inputs. Rather, school boards should be about improving student outcome. So it's just, I think we all said something in just a little different way. So then the next question, which we can probably start talking about what you were talking about, Ron, but what, if anything, did you not agree with the book?
I said my piece.
Yep. Taxpayers were left out.
Yeah, I had the same thing. I said by focusing solely on outcomes, and not adult inputs, you could, so some inputs are needed to either build or sustain the culture of the district to align with the community. For example, you just don't want to be in direct conflict with your community out there because they picked the school district for a reason.
So there's an article I read that is by the author.
Okay.
It kind of explaining the book a little bit more. There was actually a statement that said spend at least half your time on priorities around student learning and the other half on what else the community values. The finances, yellow buses, anything else. Taxpayers would probably be part of that half your time, at least in my opinion.
Did anybody go to their website, the greatontheirbehalf.com?
I did, but not recently.
They've changed it, and I think there'll be some good resources for us when we're coming to, I just wanted to
Cool.
note of that.
Great.
When we get to that point where their focus on SMART goals, I think, was really important and gives some tangible ways of really implementing that, because I know that that's something that we've talked a lot about before.
That would be great, because one of my thoughts on this, maybe not so much I didn't agree, but felt the book was weak on really helping you figure out how to set those goals. And there was a lot of talk about what was important in as far as setting a goal, but not, I was really wishing there would be more practical application. Any other thoughts about what you didn't really agree with the book? No. I thought it didn't talk enough about budgeting. I think it made it sound like budgeting was sort of, I understand that, half of our meeting should be operational and the other half is student, but yet it didn't, it made it really downplay budgeting, I think, to some extent, because it still is important.
If I could chime in, Janet and I were panel members at the WIL conference, I guess almost a year and a half ago,
Yeah.
roughly. And one of the things that I clarified, because one of the questions was related to this book. And one of the things that I clarified is defining what student outcomes are. So, for example, for us, we are about college, career, and life readiness. They're all important, and we can't forget that. And so I believe that's kind of what maybe, Amy, is that what you were kind of got it? But, defining that the career readiness portion for us is important too. It's not necessarily always the college or, there's different factors to that.
Right.
And again, that is our mission, that is our vision. And so making sure that we don't forget about the career and life readiness indicators.
I agree with you on that, because I brought up a point with the book about the lost art of kind of life skills. And when students and on how, I had put that students with strong self-regulation succeed regardless of their background. And that basically kind of encompasses life skills and what they're taking away as far as how they stay focused, how they use strategies, how they handle frustration, how they manage time, their emotions, everything that makes you successful when you're at a job. So sometimes I feel like so much focus can just be put on academics, but where are the life skills? Like, I remember home ec. What happened to home ec? That was a good class. Everybody's got to cook at some point in their life. I mean, I've had some kids in my kitchen with me, and I'm like, wait a minute, you don't even know the difference between a half a cup and 3/4 or to measure on a scale?
whoa, they were teaching this like back in elementary school. These are basic things. So sometimes I feel the lost art of that, which is very beneficial to an employer someday. So that was kind of my take on that, as far as your career readiness. Before I move on to the next question, is there anything else you want to bring up as far as disagreements? No? Okay, so just one more question, so I wanted to keep it short. This is the big one. What did you agree with and would like to see us apply in our next round of goal setting?
I think over the past 2 years, we've actually done a really good job of improving that. I think that was one of my frustrations that I've shared with the board, is we weren't really making SMART goals. They were very, very basic, and I think we've come a long way, and I think continuing to hone those and making sure that they are SMART and that they're focused on student outcomes.
I guess, my thing too is that we don't necessarily go back and put the results in there. So I'd like to, like, if we had our goals from last year, maybe put what the results actually were, and then our goals for this year. Keep track of those results.
Yeah, and just to clarify, last year, we were able to kind of put links to all the board, and I think I'll share this with you, Janet, but then we can update the board's goals and like where things were met, and then you can determine whether you've met them or not. But that was something we provided last year for the first time,
Right.
which is different. And I think we would just need to provide that information to you, but I think you've done some of this work. And I think this was the last piece that was missing from your respective goals, was this conversation around this book.
Right. And I know this time I didn't put in, like, usually I try to put in like what our status was on the goals when we do revisit them, and I didn't do it for this one. I'll do it probably for our next meeting, and drop those in there in the slides. So that,
Put that online too. Does the community have access to that? To see it all?
oh, community access to it. Sure. I mean, as far as the slides, I'll tell Ann to put it in the public section, but like, are you thinking
Like
maybe
a
right?
dashboard or
Okay.
something that's like
Yeah. So
scorecard or something.
I guess we'll think about that. I know we created that dashboard a couple years ago, and that was part of a goal that we were doing. But yeah, I mean, maybe we could drop in the board dashboard too as well.
Yeah, I mean, quite honestly, like right now, on the board's page, you have your goals.
Okay.
And then I think all we would need to do was just
Put in
kind of
a-
add the results
Yeah,
in that same spot.
That's a good idea. Okay.
Yep.
Yep, that's good. On our website. Okay. Yes, and that actually was in the book where it talked about communicating the outcome of your goals to the community. So that definitely goes along with that. Any other thoughts? Something that you really, maybe something very specific in the book you thought we should apply?
So Janet, I have a statement / question. So in the book, it's stated that training, at least board training on this topic on outcomes is like mandatory needed. But it also said if there's coaching involved, we would achieve twice the outcomes. What would that mean in terms of coaching, or would that be something that we could apply for number 3? Some kind of coaching on our outcome setting and or follow-up, or maybe some feedback on it. I don't know exactly what that means.
So I believe the author has an organization where there's people that are like certified to train based on what he teaches. And they actually send people to school districts, and they run you through workshops themselves instead of us doing it ourselves. So it's a matter of, do you want to pay for an outside company to train us, to coach us through the book and through the concepts?
I will say, at the last WASB convention, I did attend one of a course that was around setting goals for superintendents and school boards. And I would agree with Mitch on this, that we have improved quite significantly, and we are very on point. I took a lot of notes from that, and I was reviewing those notes from that course, but it was, I think, some of the coaches from because the keeping score and the monitoring and communicating results was all very similar to what was in the book.
Okay.
So I think we definitely were on point.
So back to you, Matt, are you thinking you'd like coaching? Somebody come in and actually coach us?
Yeah, maybe the WASB fund's gonna offset that. I don't, it was a statement and a question.
Okay,
I don't
but
know
same
if it's,
question, okay.
if it's something we think.
Well, then let's open up that question to the whole board. What do you think about having more formal coaching, not us ourselves just reading a book? Anybody interested in formal training and coaching? Yeah, I don't think we have great enthusiasm.
I think we've made a lot of progress, and I think
Without-
I think we're heading in that right direction, like looking at these compared to previous years. And I think you had mentioned at that WASB event,
Yeah,
there's a lot of lower functioning boards that I think are struggling.
I was actually thinking the same thing. We could probably coach a few boards how to do it.
I mean, I remember one specific person I was speaking with during the discussion part of it. He was a superintendent of another district on the other side of the state, and he said he was measured on like 150 different things, literally, and had to report out. And I was like, oh, wow, yeah, that's not the direction we take in the least bit. And he was surprised at how few things we measure, but it's like, then that's where we want to succeed and see results from. Because I can't imagine trying to manage 150 some goals. I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, sometimes I worry we still have too many goals, so yeah, that's good to know. Anything else you want to bring up about the book at all? No?
I would just then agree, I think you brought it up, Janet,
Uh-huh.
the 5-step continuous improvement model.
Yeah,
The 5th step, which is sharing progress with the community, I think we want to definitely do that as part of number 3.
okay, so there is something that I really think maybe we need to implement, and that is monthly progress monitoring. Because I feel like we put those goals out there, but again, we are doing better than we used to, because now I think there was a time when we would do goals, and like a year later, we go, oh yeah, what were those goals? And no, we do at least 1 or 2 mid-year, we meet with Joe and make sure he's on track, and I know I do also like a mid-year for the board, but actually hitting on them, at least, briefly, reminding us what they are once a month, something that I think I'd like to put on the agenda, even if it's just a reminder, hey, here's our goals. The other thing you talked about was actually having long goals, like 5-year goals. What do you guys think about that? Like having, interim goals and then
I think
long-term
that's
goals.
what we have. I mean, when you, like, student achievement, constantly strive to increase student achievement through opportunities and accountability. Like, that's not a short-term goal, that's a long-term goal.
True, but I'm like making a very specific goal, like 5 years from now, we want to be specifically here. I know we're sort of
Yeah.
doing a like year over year kind of thing, like every year we want to improve a little bit, but what if,
But I think because like the second one is increase job satisfaction, but then we have a kind of a key goal that's
Yeah.
gonna be that next year. But yeah, we could put a longer-term goal for that, but
I mean, I do like the idea of putting like stretch goals or check-in points under each goal, like to measure, to your point, where we have status. I think monthly is way too often. That.
oh no, and I'm not
Yeah,
saying,
yeah.
I'm not saying monthly goals, I'm just
Yeah,
saying check
monthly.
in on our status, where
I
are
wouldn't
we?
even say monthly is
I-
too frequent. I would say like a
Quarterly.
quarterly is what
Okay.
I would say.
Okay.
Because otherwise, yeah.
Oh, and I should have been very specific when it talked also about checking in on goals. It's not necessarily every single goal.
Yeah.
So it'd be
Okay.
like if there's, and I know that when it comes to like the fall, winter, spring, you're giving us sort of like, I know it's the check-in. It's not necessary because it's not the forward exam, but it's sort of giving us a snapshot of like how are we progressing. How is this related to how we might do on the forward exam? So, I mean, at least those sort of our check-ins.
Could we do like just a quick part of the meeting where we just flash up our goals, and if anybody has any
Yeah.
comments on it, we could like.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking
Yeah.
too. Sometimes just here's a reminder what our
Yeah,
goals are,
yeah.
just to keep us focused. Okay, but not every month. Quarterly. How about every other month? Well, where it fits in the agenda.
Keep in mind, that's 3 to 5 pages.
3 to 5 pages. Oh, yeah, that's the report where the superintendent is supposed to write for us, actually. So. Oh, we write up our own too? Okay. All right, I'll move on to our planning for our next steps, unless there's any other questions, comments about the book. All right. All right, so our next steps for the 2025-26 goals, we're going to have another meeting next month where we're actually going to hash out what we want to do for this next school year. So, any thoughts on changing the mission, vision, or values? I'll take notes so then I know how to prepare for the next meeting. Does anybody want to revisit those?
Has the school district changed their mission and vision now? Good.
Tend to change. Just haven't had any feedback otherwise.
Yeah.
Well, and the book does say having two separate criteria for evaluating school system and superintendent performance is a fundamental failure of school boards nationwide. And I feel like we're really pretty aligned with that, don't you?
Again, I do agree, like, things have become more streamlined between my goals and the board's goals, and I think that's been extremely beneficial. That we're not, because then it really just adds more goals to our work and vice versa. Like,
And I forgot to mention, I was telling Joe this earlier, but like the book talks about how it's really the board that's going to set the goals, and it's supposed to cascade down through the levels. So from the board to the superintendent, and then the superintendent, brings that to his leadership team, and then, of course, down into the schools and the classroom. I was going to ask you something about the vision, actually, Joe. So this is something that came up at the Will event, and it was talking about how often schools' visions are really looking to, educate students towards global citizenship rather than U.S. citizenship. And I noticed our vision does talk a lot about global society. Any thoughts about maybe working into the vision, U.S.?
I mean, I think for us, we do focus, and for example, recent legislation requires us to have civic education or civics exam passed, which has been different than in the years past. I think the reason why we went global is because when we were meeting with employers, they were like specifically manufacturers. They were talking about the international approach to manufacturing. So, it could be Mexico, it could be China, India, Germany, and being prepared for that was the approach that we were trying to take.
Sure.
But, again, if we want to update that and maybe just call out not, U.S. citizenship as well as global citizenship, I don't, I guess I'm looking at Amanda and Patrick. I don't think that'd be a problem for us. But again, the point being is that the global part was really based on future employment, that it's not just going to be domestic.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I know.
Is it the word citizenship that?
So citizenship isn't actually,
Oh.
well, let's see. School District New Berlin will prepare all students to succeed in a diverse, change-oriented global society, which I get it. I mean, it is, especially when it comes to, work, by fostering a learning environment in which our public schools, families, post-secondary partners, public officials, business, community, organizations, and other citizens work collaboratively.
Yeah.
Just when I saw global society, it just made me think of that discussion about how so many schools now are teaching more towards global citizenship rather than putting US citizenship really at the core of it. All right.
Again, we'll be happy to, discuss further if that's
It
the,
may not fit in the vision. I mean,
Okay.
It might not be the right place, but
Yep.
I just thought I'd bring it up.
sure, no problem, thank you.
Okay, so then we'll move on to goals. So any thoughts already on what you'd like to see for goals? Should I go back to
Yeah.
I'll go back to them. So, what do we start with? Any thoughts already on what you'd like to see for student achievement?
I vote for something in regards to the life skill piece of the career readiness, if it's not already somewhat implemented in there.
I think maybe the bottom one kind of covers that, presentations to include information on what the district offers, other than AP classes. Rolls into there a little bit.
My only comment is, can we make each of these like data-driven, where we
Yeah.
show data that we've, met the goal?
Isn't it now a state requirement for a financial literacy class in high school? A financial literacy class?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
graduation
Yep.
requirement
Yep.
next year.
Which is why I bring that up as life skill kind of thing.
I think what would make more sense is if we update this, like the goals, with the work that we've done over the course of the year, because we've already done that. Like, we shared a presentation on what do we offer beyond AP coursework. And so that's an artifact that I can include, just so that you can literally just click, and this is what you did, or we did as a result of that. Same thing with the achievement goals. And then the data in the timely manner, we've got all the different presentations that we've shared with you. Some were district level, some were school level. And they would all be there, but I think back to Amy and Matt and somebody else mentioned, making sure that the community is aware of what we've done to accomplish these goals, I think would be beneficial. But again, I believe you've accomplished them. I can put all those in one document for you.
Okay, so I said
But
those, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, but as far as the goals go, I mean, I do think, and I shared this with Janet earlier, if you go to the first goal, I'm not sure that first goal really needs to change much, because that is what it is, and that's what the book is suggesting. But again, it's just clarifying what's important to us. And might that change? It depends on what you want to do. So I guess, again, we finally got to a point now. I was going to present some of my results tonight. We didn't get to them. But when I send them to you, again, I think while we learned, I think now that I lived it for a year, we learned it. But everything that's in there is what we're aligning our goals to as a team, that we've already kind of been working on, because we just assumed they would remain consistent.
Yeah, I don't think I want to change the goals, but maybe the action.
Yeah, we generally haven't been changing the
Yeah.
main objective. It's just the key results. And so every year we find a new key result, which we're trying, like maybe, for instance, the second one, we're doing really well with staff. So, we tried to look at, well, what is it that we could improve? And so we tried to target the two lowest scoring.
And again, I have that in
Yeah.
the presentation that I will share with you.
Okay.
Yep.
I think we
met
should have an overarching larger, so if you go back to the first one.
Yeah.
Like, I think these goals should be similar to what we've done for Joe's goals, right? X amount % increase on ELA, X amount % on math,
Yep.
X amount % on
Pre-ACT.
pre-ACT. I mean, those are the three big ones,
Yep.
and if there's leading indicators, we could look at those as more shorter-term goals, like
Correct.
Yeah,
and probably not, but attendance or
Yep.
or whatever else we wanted to do.
okay.
So
All right.
those would be the.
I mean, that's really what our 5-year goal should be.
Well,
is-
like I said,
Eventually
our
the
next
goal.
meeting, we're really going to hash out key results. I just
Yeah.
wanted to get you guys thinking
They're
about
really
this, so.
Good with the actual goals.
Yeah.
Let's say,
Yeah,
Yep.
so like it sounds like everybody wants to keep the objective and just change the key results.
Yeah.
And I promised you guys no more than an hour, so I mean, we're already at an hour. So yeah, just think about like, what is it this year we want to do for key results for staff then? And then what is it we want to do fiscally? Anything particular we want to hone in on fiscally, I mean, and it sounds like you want to keep all of these same objectives, so, and again, community, and I think we already have what we want to do for community, we've pretty much hashed that out almost completely, so I will put, into the next presentation, things that we already know, and then the next presentation, we will go ahead and hash that out. And also, the administration, like, if we want to change any of these, that was the other thing that was something to think about. So I don't want to hold you any longer. We'll have
So-
another. Go ahead.
Yep, so Janet, my update this week will include, with Ann's help, kind of what you've done this year with your respective goals.
Okay,
And then I will also be including what I was going to present tonight. So you can take a look at that to say, what if anything should change? Again, I think we made a lot of progress last
Sure.
year aligning ourselves, so, but go ahead.
oh, and yeah, I was just gonna say, I don't want to hold anybody any longer. And the last thing was development and training for this year, like, are there any books? I would suggest a book Amy actually suggested a couple of years ago. It was telling stories with graphs or something,
yeah.
which I do have, and I haven't
Yeah.
actually been reading it yet, but that was just one thought I had, because I think we could probably still do better with presentations, giving that story of where we've come with academic achievements.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
that's it? Okay, have you read it? Or you know what it is? Okay. Okay. Sure, I'll send you both the it is. I did send it to you today. I did, yeah.
It's in the.
And it's in the packet,
It's in the board docs.
the board docs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a separate
yeah.
meeting. There's two meetings
Yeah.
for today.
Yep. Okay, so then, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion by Mr. Helmer and a second by Mr. Seidel to adjourn. All those in favor, raise your hand.